I was on CNN calling the crash of 2008. I said, Lehman's going down. You can check it out. I said to Wolf Blitzer, Lehman's going down. And he goes, oh! And he got kind of flustered because they're not allowed to say stuff like that. And we had Jean Chatzky, who represents Wall Street, you know, the mutual funds and 401k guys. She goes, so they don't want what we know out there. So that's why fake is fake money, fake teachers, fake assets. And the asset part, you know where that comes from. It's the City of London, Wall Street, the derivatives markets, LTCM, long-term capital management records.
We're going into one of the roughest periods of humanity right now. And the problem is, from my perspective, is the dollar. The baby boomers have only known an up market. And now the end is near. They're starting to retire out just as the market is topping. China's coming down. We have trouble in Europe. I'm just watching this whole thing going, what's going to happen to the boomers? Because they actually had it the easiest of any generation I've ever seen. The more they print, the less value, purchasing power the dollar has, or the loonie, or the yen, or the peso. So that's kind of, it's not a bet for gold, silver, Bitcoin. It's bet against our government. They trusted the government. They trusted their pension would be there, and it's going to bust. The biggest bust in the history of the world is coming up. It's pensions. You know, if you like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, have a good life. But once I saw the process of how you take nothing, you take a bunch of BS, and you turn it into a stock and you take it public on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and then, if lucky, it goes to the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. I really don't like the process personally. But all it did was convince me why gold, silver, and today Bitcoin far more solid investments given what's going on in the economy.
It's about fake money. So that was 1971. Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. What else Nixon did in 74, he opened the door to China. And today all the jobs left America. Another thing that Nixon did, he created the 401k, fake pension. So in the 1970s, that's when the world was changing. So fake money. So it's fake money, fake teachers, and fake assets.
If you have friends or family members who are stupid enough to be counting on their pension, I think it's the biggest pension fund in America is going broke. Now, that means firefighters, school teachers, public servants, they're all toast. They're all like my poor dad. They're going to find out the government screwed them. You know, just like I had friends who flew for United Airlines. They don't have a pension anymore. Somebody stole their pension. If you have friends, family, and the business associates who are still saving dollars or yen or pesos, because I think fake money or fiat currency is in serious trouble right now. And so when we're talking about gold, silver, and Bitcoin, I'm not buying gold, silver, Bitcoin. I just don't trust our government. You know, and they're going to have to start printing pretty quickly. And so if you understand the dollar, US dollar versus the loonie, it was created in 1913, but so was the tax department created in 1913. So what they're going to do, we have so much debt today, they're going to have to keep printing. But every time they do that, it creates more poverty. The system is failing. So we're going to have more homelessness, more unemployment, and the government has to print more money.
Look at this chart here. This is Social Security. It goes bust now. Medicare is bust. One of the saddest things about America today is not only are we the biggest debtor nation in the world, but only 20% of our budget went to entitlements. Today in America, it's 75%. We have all of these people saying the government should take care of me. Elizabeth Warren and Comrade Sanders, they all want the government to take care of them, just as we're going bust.
It's just the Americans don't know that there's a world out there, and we're about to get frickin' hammered. The answer is inside you, but you have to want to study the SQL resources, understand the source of your revenue, but also another thing called counterparty risk. Like if you own Amazon, the counterparty is Jeff Bezos. You own gold, the counterparty's God. You own silver, the counterparty's God. You own Bitcoin, the counterparty is the network and blockchain. So those are all considerations when you're studying. I'm very optimistic about the future. I'm investing more money in not stocks, but my own startups. But that's what I do. And then I own stocks via the startup. That's how but I have control over the board and things like that. So those are some of the differences, and I started early. Everything we're talking about, Wall Street, the Fed, our pensions, and the government is all related. They're all coming from the same source of problems. And I wish it was as simple as take 2 aspirin, then you'll be fine in the morning, because that's not the answer. There is no easy answer. Even gold, silver, and Bitcoin, in a depression, in a market crash, which I say coming, they'll crash not because they're bad, but because people go into what I call a short squeeze, a liquidity crisis. They need to pay bills, so they're going to sell what is the most liquid. Let me just say this much. Markets go up and markets come down. It's coming down. Then we're going into depression, and then we go into revolution. Depression is when more jobs are lost and they're going to have to print more money. Just as they did to prevent when Fauci, fascist Fauci shut down the U.S. economy, the whole world economy is shut down. America is now the largest debtor nation in history. Student loan debt is out of sight. Consumer loan debt is out of sight. Stock market is all based upon debt. When debt to GDP hits 90%, so we have 90% debt to GDP. That's pretty optimal. That means every dollar you borrow, when it's 90%, the economy grows by 10%. So it's a 10 to 1, a 10% ratio. Today, the debt to GDP ratio is 140%. They cannot add any more money to it. It's not going to grow. That's what it means.
Well, every time I do a lot of speaking to the masses out there, Lehman doesn't invite me in because we're gone, but they go, well, what, it's so risky. What you're saying is risky. And I said, what I do isn't risky for me, but it's risky for you. And when somebody says, what is risk? You have to look in the mirror. Do you know what I mean? For me to fly in Vietnam, that was high risk. But the higher the risk, the more you have to study. You know that, I know that. So if you're not going to study, you're not going to practice and all that, then you should do what Wall Street tells you to do. Buy, 401ks, mutual funds, ETFs and all that. But that's where they're fake assets, because they only make Wall Street or the City of London rich. Just watch where the cash is flowing. Follow the money.